Okay. Well, my name is Maxwell. I'm your host for today's edition of Young Investors Digest. We come your way every Sunday, 7 p.m. So I expect that most of you are already used to us to begin with. So my co-host is Vanessa Paribia Akufu. Today, I'll be the one anchoring the whole segment. So yes, for today, we'll be talking about the role of students, investment funds in promoting wealth creation and financial literacy. And we have on the bill Gideon incoming private equity analyst for Iris Management. And also he's done a bit of work in the space of fund management at the student level and on the mainstream level. And also we have Joshua Kwei-Mensah, who's the project manager for Young Investors Fund. And they would all be delving into the topic of promoting wealth creation and financial literacy through student investment funds. And we'll be zooming in on a case study of Oberlin Finance and Investment Club and Young Investors Fund. That's our very own Young Investors Fund. So just so that we jump right into it, we are going to be speaking with Gideon. Gideon, good evening. How are you? And welcome
Hi.
to...
Hi, Maxwell. Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're audible.
Yes. Perfect. Good evening, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Always. So just so that our listeners, you're already a familiar face for those within Young Investors, but just so that our listeners who aren't so familiar, at least get around to know who you are. Could you just tell us a bit about your journey, then jump right into the case study of Oberlin Finance and Investment Club?
Okay. So a bit about myself and then jumping straight. Okay, so you've already introduced me. My name is Gideon. I'm a rising senior. I'm a senior actually at Oberlin College. So senior means that I have just 1 year left. I run the Oberlin Finance and Investment Club. So we manage a fund of about $600,000 now, which we invest across equities and fixed income. Outside Oberlin, I run my nonprofit, and then I'm an incoming private equity analyst at Ares Management Corporation, based in Los Angeles in the US. So basically, like I said, the Oberlin Finance and Investment Club, we manage the Oberlin Finance and Investment Fund. And then the fund manages about $600,000, right? So we are a team of about 40 students, and I serve as a chief investment officer. And then I oversee all the things relating to like management of the club and then also the investments. So when you join the club, you become an equity research analyst. So basically, as an equity research analyst, your job is you're helping out with the presentations for the securities that we're looking to buy. So let's say, for example, we want to buy Apple stock, right? We need to be able to do a full presentation where we analyze Apple, we analyze their strengths, their weaknesses, their business model, the industry Apple is working in. We would also kind of build a model to kind of determine what we think Apple's price should be or should be trading at, right? So after we do all that, we will do like a full presentation, maybe about 30, 40 pages, where we will basically pitch it to the club. We would discuss it, and then we would take a vote, right? So if we take a vote to invest, yes, I can say no. I can say no, because I'm the chief investment officer, and then I have veto power. So even if the club votes yes, and then I'm not comfortable with the investment, I can literally just vote no. So basically, that's like a brief overview of like the investment club. So we have analysts, we have associates, we have vice presidents, we have managing directors, and then the chief investment officer. So the junior folks do a lot of the basic work, and then as it comes up the ladder, they keep reviewing. So by the time the presentation gets on my table or the model gets to me, it should be almost correct. And then I can just like maybe show them or give a few comments for things that I want them to fix. They will do that before we pitch it in front of the entire club. So that's what we do. And then there are other things that we do to help make sure that members actually build their financial literacy and actually like understand finance. And so we create educational programs. We do a lot of travel. We go for retreats. We go for conferences. We host like leadership series. We do training sessions on like topics like moving the world and so many things. Yeah. So that's just a basic overview of the Oberlin Finance and Investment Club.
Fantastic, fantastic. So now we have a fair idea, or we have a fix on what the finance club does. Apparently, you're not just into betting on equities or whatnot, or basically placing trades. It goes beyond that. It's a holistic system which you put in place that ensures that those who go within it come out with the full complement of skills to be able to be financial players, at the same time create wealth while at it. I think it's fantastic. But then let's really look at what the consequences have been, or what the results have been with Oberlin Finance. Has it really translated into concrete development of the people within it and the community? Tell us more about that.
Okay, can you repeat the question one last time? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, so that's what you do, right? So tell us about how the impact has been felt across board with respect to those who come within, and when it comes to creating wealth or wealth opportunities, how Oberlin Finance has been able to do that, especially amongst the youth.
Okay, perfect. So as an investment fund, right, we focus a lot on finance education, right? So we create a lot of opportunities for our members to actually understand finance. Financial literacy is a very important topic that a lot of people do not actually understand, right? And you cannot build wealth if you don't understand what avenues are available for you to be able to invest, like what you can actually do. So we create a lot of programs like that for members in our club to learn. And aside that, we also create a lot of educational programs for members outside the club, but in the Oberlin community and the surrounding communities, to also learn about financial literacy, and then also be able to. So, for example, we had a session on like crypto investing. We had another session on like how to be able to build a good credit score. We had a session about basic asset classes that you can invest in, right? What are the ways that even professors can invest? Like all these things, we do that. And then every year, we donate about 20% of our profits from our investing to help a community development effort, right? So sometimes we can give it to a scholarship fund in the local high school. Sometimes we give it to like the prison close to us. Sometimes we give it to our school to help out with scholarships for students who are enrolling. So those are ways that we help make sure that the people in the club, the people surrounding the community, and the people in the college actually are able to build their financial literacy and able to like kind of like improve their skills in themselves.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what, if you could give us a bit of backstory for Oberlin Finance Investment, how old and what was the real behind it? How did you find yourself in there?
Okay, perfect. That was good. So the Oberlin Finance and Investment Club started about 10 years ago when an alumni donated about $20,000 to the fund, and then the alumni said, "Oh, we need a lot of kids at Oberlin to learn how to invest, right, and then prepare themselves for careers in finance." So the club is managed solely by students. So we make 100% investment decisions. Now tells us what to do. So we started investing the money at that point from 10 years ago from $20,000, and now we are $600,000. When I went to Oberlin, right, I thought that I wanted to do like international relations, which then changed to finance because I saw that there's a gap in the Ghanaian market, especially when it comes to financing. So I wanted the opportunity to be able to contribute my quota one day towards helping a lot of African companies raise capital across the globe. So that's why I personally decided to pursue a career in finance. And then to help prepare me, I decided to join the investment fund because I was like, okay, if you want to work in finance, it might be a good opportunity to learn about what investing, and that might be great. So I joined as an equity research analyst. I did all the dirty work, all documentation and all the nonsense that none of your superiors want to do. I did that. But that gave me the opportunity to really like improve my financial literacy and really understand finance because I'm an economics and computer science double major. I don't do finance, but I've been able to learn a lot about finance through this club and then through my internships and then started and self-studying. So that's how I personally ended up. So I started as an equity research analyst. I was promoted to associate. I became treasurer. I was promoted to a vice president. I was promoted to like managing director in charge of international stocks. And then I became the head of fundamental analysis and technical analysis. And then I became chief investment officer a year ago. And when I took over as chief investment officer, we had $380,000 of $80,000 in assets. And in just like a year of taking over, I've been able to like take our assets from $380,000 to $594,000 as of last week, as of this past Friday. So we're doing pretty well. And if you look, the S&P right now is down about like 14, 15% year to date. But we are so up. So I think that we are doing a good job and we are investing very well.
Fantastic. Your closing statement is very profound because usually the benchmark for assessing how good a fund is performing is if they outperform the S&P 500 or all the major indexes. So clearly, you guys are really having a hell of a spree. Okay, so that you said this and you said that, but then let's look at wealth creation aspect for emerging markets like ours in our part of the world, which is the global South, Africa. You also, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm listening.
So Africa, clearly there are foundations. There were certain foundations and structures which allow for Oberlin Finance and Investment Club to take place, like a strong alumni network and those who feel that they need to give back and empower the youth. You understand? In Africa, it's not so the same situation here. You'd find that socio-economic factors might not allow people to deem, let's say, the youth as a safe pair of hands to handle money. So how do we overcome these socioeconomic factors, then financial factors, then allow these kinds of student investment clubs to really have a foothold in a place like Africa? What's the best roadmap for that?
That makes sense. Great. I don't think you need to manage actual money to learn how to invest, right? Because investing is a skill, right? If let's say I can create a hypothetical portfolio and say that, oh, I'm assuming that today I have $1 million, and then I am going to buy these stocks, and then see how these stocks will perform over next month. Like, do you understand? So I think that the problem here is there's nobody ready to donate money to start an actual fund, right? But the young people can actually take the chance upon themselves to actually start learning about how to invest. And there are so many platforms that can actually give you the opportunity to manage hypothetical portfolios, right? And that could help build your financial knowledge. And also when it comes to like creating wealth, it all starting from somewhere, right? When you have a CD today, you invest that CD, you get some tomorrow, you keep investing, and then little drops make a mighty ocean. People who are wealthy abroad, they are wealthy because the money they have, they invest it, right? You cannot just like build wealth from just like getting a salary job and then no. You need to be able to like invest what you have. And that will actually help you a lot in terms of building wealth. So I think that there are so many, unfortunately, there are not a lot of systems in Ghana for a lot of young people to invest, right? But then I love the vision of the Young Investors Fund that is going to give young people the opportunity to invest from a very young age. And I think that the youth should take advantage of such opportunities because like if you invest one CD a month for like 10 years, that's like a huge amount of money. That's a huge amount of money that you can keep investing and then, yeah. So I think that little things do matter and investing is like a habit. if you cultivate that habit very early, you will grow up and then be able to like invest when you get more money. But if you don't actually cultivate that habit when you're young, it becomes very difficult to do as you grow up, right? And we have a lot of young people. That's why like rich people in Ghana don't actually become very rich because like they don't know how to invest their money. We had only two Ghanaian billionaires. We had Charles Ampofo and then we had Sam Jonah. And even if you look at those two, they were not actually based in Ghana. Sam Jonah was working in South Africa doing mining, and then Charles Ampofo was based in the Middle East doing oil and gas, real estate, and so many things. But why is it that the people in Ghana cannot actually build wealth, right? You have a lot of people who have money, but you don't even know what you're doing, but they have money. And all these things are not motivating, and it all comes from like financial illiteracy. People have the money, but they do not know how to invest it, right? So it all starts with learning about things, like learning about finance, listening, keeping up with world news, right? And keeping up data with things that, like keeping up with things going on, keeping up with trends and all these things, and making the right connection. And all these things can help you. So I think that's what I can say.
Fantastic. For that, one thing I particularly have keen interest in, and I feel is needed here, the community nature of Oberlin Finance and the community-focused nature of Oberlin Finance allows it to see beyond its portfolio and have broader impact, where you said you donate your proceeds from your gains for the year to a community-focused cause or prison, which is fantastic,
Yes,
which means
we do that.
Yes, which means you are taking your corporate social responsibility rather seriously. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up for Oberlin Finance and Investment. We'd like to talk to Mr. Gideon. He will jump right in and tell us what they are doing, which is basically what Oberlin is doing, but in Ghana with young investors, and what the motivation has been. Mr. Gideon, can you hear me? Mr. Joshua,
Is it myself or Mr. Mensa right now?
Okay, good. Thank you, Maxwell. And I just admiring Gideon for the great work that he's doing as a Ghanaian that has been the chief investment officer with Oberlin in Finance and Investment Club. I think it's very, very inspiring. So for Young Investors Fund, you all know what we've been doing. We focus on financial literacy. We are a financial development organization, and we've impacted over 100,000 students. We've gone to, we normally train students from junior high school, senior high school, and tertiary, and other professionals. So we believe that if students want to learn the rubrics of savings investments, what they can do is to start practicing it. Normally, people talk about financial literacy without practicing it. So we want them to practice by putting some money down. So we have a program called the Save a CD a Day, and the Save a CD a Day is it helps them to instill discipline in the students, especially the youth. So some of them have over 10,000 Ghana cedis in senior high school. So basically, that's what we do in Ghana.
Okay, fantastic. There's a church. This example I'd like to bring in here. There's a church that runs a youth club that as investments that they can use the proceeds for, let's say, scholarship, helping people out. When you look at that model, you can see how when capital is mobilized and the right amount of knowledge is applied to it, it could have a multiplier effect. And if even groups are coming around to understand the importance of investment to, let's say, the monies that you put by virtue of community, I feel that beyond the youth to have kinds of like Young Investors Network to equally capitalize on the securities market or the equities markets to help themselves. That is your best shot at wealth creation. So what is the direction for Young Investors Fund with Save the CD? What is the goal eventually? Where do you see yourself in terms of in the next week?
Okay, so thank you. So And for Young Investor Network, we believe in building foundation, and we believe that when you really teach a child how to save and invest, you have done very great service to the person. So our focus will still be on the youth. In the next 3 to 5 years, we should be having a mutual fund, and one of the biggest mutual funds in Ghana and Africa. We just get a contact from another African country today just to have a partnership with us. So we believe that once we have a mutual fund, that now that Ghana is going to digitization, anybody, for example, from senior high school, SRCs, or youth clubs, everybody at all, we want to enroll them into the Young Investor Network so that we will have one mutual fund for the youth in Ghana. So that at least before you finish school, look at what happened. Before you finish school in Ghana, you should be able to have enough money to take care of you, to start your business or to go and do your masters. I always said I struggle before I finish my master because I don't have enough money. But by the grace of God, I have to really save to do another master's again. And I've passed through all this. So I know that some students struggle. For example, students have over 9 to 12 years in school. Okay, they spend 9 to 12 years in school. So if they are saving 1 cedi or 2 cedis as averagely, they should be able to get 20,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, and this money can be a capital, and they can even start a business with the money, or they can even do their masters. They can even add value to themselves. They can use the same money to invest in themselves. So we believe that in 3 to 5 years, we should have one of the biggest mutual funds in Ghana, and we also want to create jobs opportunities, help the students to grow professionally so that they can be accepted wherever they go. You know, in Ghana, they said that there's a gap between the academia and the industry. Young Investors Fund, we don't just do that. We also train them. We give them the thing that they need to develop themselves. So in a nutshell, we currently we have over 4,000 students now who are doing savings and investments with us. And you know, we are the financial development organization, as I said earlier on, but the money doesn't stay with Young Investor Network. The fund is being managed by IC Securities and the UMB Investment Holdings. So these are the people that manage their money.
Okay, fantastic. I think what you said basically highlights what is required here, because a lot of people have the sentiment that Ghana's educational system is able to churn out on an industry level graduates into a market that isn't able to churn out on an industry level job opportunity. So you can see that there is a mismatch of sorts, because we have a constant supply of graduates every year, but the job supply isn't as constant and isn't as industrial. So that might be a bit of a problem. So these communities which are being formed, or these pace setters, so to speak, like Young Investors Network, is really creating a whole different niche for graduates and the youth to really consider, not just finish school, but save towards your future, so to speak. So I think it's fantastic. And I certainly hope that by virtue of platforms like this, this would basically be a rallying cry to any form of future partners for young investors fund, where they can jump aboard and be a part of all of this. Okay, thank you, Mr. Joshua. Closing statements from Gideon. So Gideon, I personally love how you said, in addition to financial literacy and all the many other things you are doing, you emphasize on the need to stay up to date with global trend. For example, you said you did a seminar on crypto and whatnot. And I feel that that is one surefire way for the youth to really capitalize on wealth opportunities, because they are ever changing and they are fast paced. You have to know where the world is going and adjust your views accordingly. What really is motivating that, and why is that an area of focus? That's just my last question for you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that as young people, right, it's good to be able to keep up with like things going on in the world. And that helps you, even as an individual, it helps you to be informed. One, two, you are able to have very intellectual conversations, and then you are able to make informed decisions if you know things going on.
Because I always tell a lot of young people whenever I meet them that if you sit in a classroom with someone, you know what they are doing, you can always do things to be better than them. But you don't know what kids in other places are doing, right? So it makes sense to be able to keep up with global trends, and that can help you make more informed decisions when it comes to like career, when it comes to like even investing, when it comes to like things that you should engage in, certain skill set that you should gain. That's why like keeping up with global trends is very, very important. And especially in this finance field, we live and breathe things going on globally on information.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't have information, then other people are going to use it against you. Right? That's how investing is. Some people win and some people lose because some people have information, some people do not. And if some people have and you do not, then you're going to be on the losing end of the train. That's why I always tell young people that keeping up with the news, keeping up with things going on, not only just in finance, is the least you can do to make yourself better. All it takes is whenever I wake up myself, I spend a few minutes reading what's going on and what has gone on in financial markets. And then as the day goes by, I've subscribed to a lot of like journals, like the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, all of them, and I pay for them every month. I pay for them. So it's like I get notifications in my email when things happen. So I always kind of have a sense of like things that are going on. And as somebody who likes to invest and trade myself, that informs some of the investment decisions I take. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Fantastic. I mean, information is the new currency, really, when you think about it. All right. Thank you so much, Gideon Ampofu, who's a private equity analyst and he also is the chief investment officer for Oberlin Finance and Investment Club in New York, and Mr. Joshua Mensah, who's a project manager for Young Investors Fund. So that basically wraps us up with today's edition for the Young Investors Digest. As usual, Sunday, 7 p.m. is the place to tune in, and we are grateful for every time you spend with us. So until next week, it's bye-bye for now.
Thank you.